If your dog suddenly growls at nothing, you might not be alone. Dogs have a keen sense of the supernatural, or so some believe. They can sense things that are beyond human perception, things that lurk in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. Sarah found that out the hard way. She had always been a skeptic, never one to believe in ghost stories or urban legends. But that night, her skepticism was put to the ultimate test. It was just after midnight when Sarah heard it, a low guttural howl echoing through the forest behind her house. The sound was unlike anything she had ever heard before, sending chills down her spine. It was as if the forest itself was alive, whispering secrets of ancient horrors. She froze, fingers trembling over the keyboard. She had been working late trying to meet a deadline, but now her focus was shattered. The howl had pierced through the quiet of the night, leaving her paralyzed with fear. This wasn't the usual night noises. This was different. The forest was usually a place of peace for Sarah, a sanctuary where she could escape the hustle and bustle of daily life. But tonight it felt like a place of dread, filled with unseen terrors. Her black dog, Max, usually calm, stood up abruptly. Max was her loyal companion, always by her side, and his sudden change in behavior was alarming. He was a brave dog, not easily spooked, but now he seemed on edge, as if sensing an imminent threat. Ears perked, he stared at the window, growling softly. His growls were low and menacing, a warning to whatever was out there. Sarah's heart raced as she tried to make sense of what was happening. Sarah's heart pounded as she glanced at the clock. 12:15 a.m. Time seemed to stand still as she listened intently, her senses heightened by fear. The minutes dragged on, each second feeling like an eternity. The howl came again, closer this time. It was louder, more insistent, as if whatever was making the sound was drawing nearer. Sarah's mind raced with possibilities, each one more terrifying than the last. She turned off her computer, plunging the room into darkness. The glow of the screen had been a small comfort, but now she needed to be hidden, to blend into the shadows. She hoped that by turning off the light, she could make herself less of a target. The moonlight cast eerie shadows through the trees. The forest was bathed in a ghostly glow, the branches swaying gently in the wind. It was a beautiful yet haunting sight, one that filled Sarah with a sense of foreboding. Max's growls deepened as he edged closer to the door, his body tense. He was ready to defend his home, but Sarah could see the fear in his eyes. Whatever was out there, it was something that even Max was afraid of. Then a sudden slam against the back door shook the entire house. The force of the impact was so strong that it rattled the windows and sent a shiver down Sarah's spine. It was as if something was trying to break in, to force its way into her sanctuary. Sarah jumped, her breath caught in her throat. She had never felt such fear before, a primal terror that gripped her heart and refused to let go. She knew she had to stay calm, but it was becoming increasingly difficult. Claws scraped against the wood, followed by heavy, wet breathing. The sound was horrifying, like something out of a nightmare. Sarah could almost picture the creature on the other side, its claws digging into the wood, its breath hot and fetid. Whatever it was trying to get in. The thought sent a wave of panic through Sarah. She had to do something, but what? She felt trapped, helpless, against the unknown force outside her door. Max barked fiercely, but with an edge of fear. His barks were loud and aggressive, but there was a tremor in his voice that betrayed his fear. He was trying to protect Sarah, but he was just as scared as she was. Sarah's pulse raced as she grabbed her phone. No signal. She had hoped to call for help, but now she was completely cut off. The realization that she was alone, with no way to contact the outside world, was almost too much to bear. The wind howled, rattling the windows as the scraping at the door grew more frantic, more violent. It was as if the creature was becoming more desperate, more determined to get inside. The noise was deafening, a cacophony of terror that filled the house. Then, as suddenly as it started, the noise stopped. The silence that followed was almost more terrifying than the noise itself. It was a heavy, oppressive silence, filled with the weight of unspoken horrors. The silence that followed was suffocating. Sarah could hear her own heartbeat, loud and frantic in the quiet. She didn't dare move, didn't dare breathe, afraid that any sound might bring the creature back. Did the midnight howl just leave, or is it waiting for its next moment? Who or what was it? Pause for end. Sarah didn't know, and that was the most terrifying part, the unknown, the uncertainty, the fear of what might come next. She knew that this night would haunt her forever, a reminder of the horrors that lurk in the darkness, waiting for the right moment to strike.